Welcome to my channel, everyone. Today we're gonna take a look at wild problem in Java. Welcome everyone. Today we're gonna take a look at the bubble sort in Java. So how do we do bubble sort? So let's say we have this array and we need to sort them in alphabet. How can I say non-decreasing order? So the way you do it, there are many ways, and there are many sorting algorithms that you may bump into in your job interviews. And this is one of the first one that I want to cover today. It's called the bubble sort. Why it's called the bubble? Because when you sort each element in this array, each element in an array would bubble up, and then it will sequentially be located at the last minute or the last position of inside of this array. So let me start with a private int. I'll say static int, doesn't matter, but like private means I can only access. Wanted to keep it private, you know. I don't want to like disclose it to other classes later on. Bubble sort. This bubble sort is gonna take integer array, okay, and then I want to start my loop. How many loops do you think before I write it down this code you think we need? Just one, two, three. Three is not going to be a good idea because as you see here, it's not going to be. So the first outer index I will just take care of. It's going to be run like n times basically. It's the length, basically the length of the array because every time we want to do the checking, right, of the adjacent, whether the 9 is greater than 8, 8 is greater than 8, 4, stuff like that. We need that one for loop to take care of that situation. Another for loop, the outer for loops, it's gonna take care of each individual implementation. What I mean by that is we need to send 9 to the end, 8 to the end. We need to send 9 to the end, 8 to the end, 4 to the end, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's gonna taken care of. So that's sort of the the property of this problem because I'm gonna later explain about the time complexity, but even though you want it to be sorted everything automatically, but the computer is not that smart, so it needs to be built very sequentially. So once you want to compare each element and send it later, you definitely want to start it over here and then send it and send it and send it, if that makes sense to you, you know? Because they're gonna obviously swap each other, but that does not mean that they are gonna be automatically sent. So what I mean by that is second loop is gonna be int j equal 0. It's not definitely not I plus 1. I'll explain to you later because after we sorted later on, we want to actually check from the beginning and see if any elements that we've missed so far, which has been not sorted or which has been not taken care of to be sorted, you know. So j array.length minus 1, in this case j plus plus. If array of j index j, which is previous index, if that's the greater than the next one, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? If that's greater than, we want to swap it, right? The way you do it is I'm gonna actually make a temp variable equal array of j, and before you say that, you definitely need to make a temp variable here because later on this is sort of the property of swapping is you previously array of j plus 1. So I'm gonna basically say, hey, I want to move the j plus 1 to the array of j index if the previous one is bigger than larger than the second one. Otherwise, and then I want a j plus 1 equal arrays of j. But as you see here, this is sort of the ideal way of sorting. But because your array of j is updated as j plus 1, that's why I want to keep this temp variable, which is used to be the original one. That's how I got it. And then later on, what you want to do is this is sort of the basic algorithm. So if I is 0 means I want to start from 0 index 1, send it, comparing, send it later on. As you see, if the 8 is going to be index 0 again, right? So I'm going to start with 8 and then I'm going to start with index 0s and then compare everything. Does it make sense? So that's how you do it. And then later on, what you want to return? You want to return an array outside of this for loop before closing up this method, return array, and you want to print out as following: public static void main. Again, you cannot say private here. That's sort of the Java convention. It's gonna say error. You can make any methods of private if you want, but and array equals. Okay, I'm gonna fit this array, which I'm sort of writing about here, and we want to store the result of this in a following form: solution dot bubble sort. Because why are we able to do it? Because it's static, means belongs to stat. It does not belong to instance of the class, you know. Bubble sort array, okay. And we want to print out the result. Again, I really actually try to print out the result, but later on I had a error, so I need to actually loop through each individual array of integers, array of strings, whatever. In Java array, you cannot print this array as a whole. You need to loop through it and print each element. Otherwise, it's gonna just prints the reference, sort of the pointer address or something later, you know. So for int equals 0, I smaller result length I plus plus. And then what you want to do is system sys that out, println or print result I, you know, I would say plus some of space, doesn't matter if you want, but we'll see if that works. Hopefully, please, Lord, please, is it gonna work? I want to do first thing, they're perfect. This is sort of the bubble sort, so I'm gonna comment it out and say, hey, this is how you do bubble sort. We're gonna bubble sort in Java. Please leave some comments if you can't understand it. And if you really can't understand this code, try to traverse my code and write. Please pick up your pen and pencil. You write it down every single instance and try to understand why it's written like that. Why do I construct like this? You know, again, if you can't understand, try to do a backtracking. Okay, so first I need to swap everything genetically if the previous is larger than the later one. And later on, what I want to do is after you like loop to each element, but because we need n number of times, so again, what is the time complexity of this algorithm? Is n minus 1, n minus 2 to the 1, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3. This you may have learned in discrete math, it doesn't matter. Maybe you have learned in middle school, high school. That's O n squared, because that's n squared plus n divided by 2. Still, that's O n squared complexity. You know. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you have a great day. This is the answer. Bye bye.